Back to our panel, Mr. Lewin.
Thank you. Every representative declares that, education is one of their top priorities. If elected, how would we as the public know that through your actions that indeed public education was in fact your top priority?
Mr. Becker.
Sure. Well, you'll know that it's a priority by how I spend my time, how I spend our money as taxpayers, and how I spend my political capital in Sacramento. And I think you can look at my past performance to see that it is a priority. I care deeply about fixing our schools, and it's really what got me into this race, where my daughter started kindergarten in Las Lomitas. And my role serving on the Board of Trustees as a founding trustee of UC Merced. So this is how I've spent my time as a private citizen for the last 10 years with Full Circle Fund, working on these issues.
Sorry.
Got a little musical accompaniment. Working.
Would everybody turn off their cell phones?
Sure. So for the last 10 years working on this issue for the Full Circle Fund, starting things like National Lab Day. This is an innovation we just started about 10 months ago. And now Michelle Obama talked about it this week. The president's talked about it as an innovation that doesn't cost money. Let's get all the scientists and engineers, the smart people in our communities, and get them into our schools with teachers that want to do hands-on learning. And then myself driving to the Central Valley for the last 6 years to be part of UC Merced because I thought it was important. It's the lowest college attendance rate in the state, the poorest part of our state, and I thought that we had to change the college aspirations of kids in the Central Valley, which we've now done. But now all of that success is under threat right now because of Sacramento and because of the decisions that have been made. And that's why I'm running, because this is my priority, and I think you can look at my past actions to say that this will be a priority when I get to the State Assembly.
Mr. Gordon.
Gordon, thank you for the question. Here's what you'll see. Number one, you'll see an assemblyman who aggressively seeks appointment to the Assembly Committee on Education. That's where the action happens, and that's where I want to be, and I will aggressively seek that. You'll also see an assemblyman who refuses to make further cuts in the state budget for education, and who will fight efforts to suspend at any point the Prop 98 requirements. Most importantly for this assembly district, you will find an assemblyman who will fight to maintain funding for basic aid districts. 20 of the 28 school districts in this assembly district are basic aid. And in the recent past, there have been efforts made to reduce the funding of that basic aid districts received back down to revenue limit. It was an effort made to balance the state budget by taking money away from those districts that receive their funding from property tax and not from state dollars. What we actually need to do is exactly the opposite. We need to raise the revenue limit for all districts so that we raise the bar, put more money into education, and help get those revenue limit districts that are our low wealth districts up to the level of basic aid. But this particular assembly district, one of the most critical issues will be to fight for and maintain the capacity of local school boards who are basic aid districts to maintain their funding.
Thank you. Ms. Kishimoto.
Thank you. Well, my two predecessors stole quite a bit of my thunder. I mean, I would also be very, very proud to serve on the Assembly Committee on Education to continue the important work that Senator Simidian and our representatives have done in playing a state leadership role in education. It really is a high-stakes district and high-stakes time. Because our district has traditionally sent people who do take state leadership role in from both education as well as economy and environment, and I'm committed to following that tradition. In addition to the items that have been mentioned, I do agree on the basic aid issues, leveling up, of course. A full commitment to full funding, and the most important way to get to the full funding is to work with you, the voters, to overturn the 2/3 requirement to pass the budgets and add new revenues. The 2/3 requirement is the single biggest obstacle to full funding, and that's something that we need to focus on. I also believe that we need to redirect our budget spending, hopefully away from end-of-the-pipe spending, which is prison spending, redirect that 10 or 11% of prison spending and direct it to more upstream spending, which is early education funding, so we can catch learning disabilities early, address achievement gap issues so that they're prepared to start school prepared. We need to, I also want to focus on teachers. That's the single most important gateway to improvement in education. That is what all the studies I read say, that we need to invest in teacher education at the CSU levels, and I look forward to working on all these.
Thank you.